Speaking of bad experiences, like what is it like? Have you dealt with this personally in the industry where people rather, step on your toes and be disingenuous and not really help you get to where you want to be to kind of keep themselves higher up?
Yeah, many times. The person that snakes you is the person right next to you. But I learned like, now that's not necessarily like a black thing as much as it is a human thing because, history has proven that. But we're going to talk about today's time. Let's just speak on today's time. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg snake Eduardo?
Mm-hmm.
He gave him the 19,000 for Facebook, then played him out of the bigger vision of Facebook. He wound up suing and did get his money more than that. But then you got Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. You could say Jay-Z, Dame Dash, depending on whose side you're on. Cameron, Jim Jones, and NWA, because to some regard you could say Eazy-E was playing them. He's working with the white man to play his four boys. So it's a part of the culture for whatever reason. I'm talking about just the culture of life. Like we just have this need to like, once we up, I guess we can't be up if somebody ain't down.
Right.
So we need somebody to wash our feet and take out the garbage and do the mail. And that's just life because women do it with each other. Everybody, we all do. We all want to be the alpha. I think that's just a biological nature within all humans.
Yeah.
But some, I think, once you say, I don't need these things because real wealth is what I can do without, that's when you win. I think that's when you become the Jay-Z level of like, I don't need the watch and stuff. That's all theater for the public. But I learned once I got around rich people, they was buying things for theater, not because it was an easy way to lure the prey in. The prey meaning the artist, the prey meaning the basketball player. So I bring him to my nice house. He goes, damn, he's saying, I need something like this one day. And here, kid, sign this contract and I'll get it for you. The whole time I'm playing you, but you got to learn the hard way because I have seen when you give people information, they don't run with it neither. I've seen that 10,000. I mean, think of this. Think of Beanie Siegel and Jay-Z. This is the perfect example of given and it don't matter. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, gave Beanie Siegel a record label, a clothing line, and a movie deal. Movie company, basically, with state property. And what did he do with it? He's the best example of you can give a man $1 billion. He ain't gonna do nothing with it but go back to the streets.
Is that what happened to Beanie?
Beanie Siegel. He wound up going to jail for two different reasons. But after the hype of Rockefeller, remember, he went to jail. Where's he at now with all that he once had? Those are $100 million companies.
So Beanie Siegel was responsible for some $100 million companies.
Yeah, he had. Better yet, Beanie Siegel gave Kanye Yeezus. Kanye said that. Kanye said that. My point is like going into like intellectual property conversation. Beanie Siegel was the first person to call Kanye Yeezy. And Kanye said that. He said, I owe him money. I think he said on Drink Champs. He said, I owe him some money. And he said he was going to give him $50 million. I don't know if he did. But
that's how much Kanye probably has generated off that Yeezy title.
Remember, at the time, he was a billionaire because of the licensing of his name. He's not making the clothes. He's just licensing it out. But Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, they all licensing deals. Marriott, Hilton, Trump Tower, Trump Palace. It's all licensing.
Wait, explain that to me like I'm in 5th grade.
Sorry.
For the people out there who just don't, because my brain is still rattled. Yeah. How Kanye could how Beanie Siegel could be responsible for Kanye making $50 million. I'm trying to understand this a little bit.
Because that's because the name. If Kanye's licensing the name to Adidas is paying. It's like franchising. If I buy McDonald's, they're charging you $1 million just to use the name. Just to use it, just to say I own a McDonald's franchise, just to say that. Then they're charging you for the building, the napkins, the straws, whatever. So same thing with Yankees. If I'm New Era and I want to license that Yankee logo, I'm giving you permission to use it, to say it. This is a Yankee cap. That's naming rights agreements, licensing, and things like that. Ralph Lauren. So, you get paid for your name. You get paid for like basic stuff like that. And Beanie Siegel, who was unaware, gave him the name that was worth, just like Facebook. It was called The Facebook. And then Sean Parker said, no, drop the, call it Facebook. He got $2.6 billion out of that.
Billion?
Yeah, Sean Parker, the same guy who helped create Spotify. I don't know if you know him, but he's in the movie Social Network. Justin Timberlake plays his character.
Okay, that's Sean Parker. Because even in the movie, he was like saying he was responsible for some DSP Napster. Way back then, Napster.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So he made $2 billion just off the name Facebook alone.
He basically was a consultant in regards to Mark Zuckerberg because of his failure with Napster, and said, change the name, and then I'm going to walk you in the room to get the money. And that's all he did. That's all he did.
So Beanie Siegel gave Kanye the word Yeezus because he put Yeezy on the shirts, the shoes. That's
down the
relevant for
line,
Beanie.
years down the line.
So he could have he can, but he doesn't have the right to because Beanie Siegel didn't own the name.
But he could have owned it without
It's more
Kanye.
of a moral gesture to give him the $50 million.
He was unaware. Oh, yeah. Kanye giving him the money is a moral gesture. But Beanie Siegel was unaware of what that was. I'll give you a better example. When I used to intern for G-Unit Clothing, Mark Echo bought the IP and fashion to G-Unit. Because you can own a trademark, but there's over 50 categories. So he bought it in fashion, in a clothing line. And he made $400 million off of that. And then 50 Cent had to work with him because 50 wasn't making the clothes. Remember, even with the sneakers, they licensed G-Unit to Reebok. And he got $80 million from that just because I'm giving you the rights to use my name. But Mark Echo played a role in that. That's how Mark Echo became a billionaire. Mark Echo created Complex, the Echo brand. He owned Averex, at the time another company called Zoo York. But that's what he was doing. But he wasn't making anything. He just owned the names, and then he's giving it to a licensee, and they make it.
So you're telling me the brand Virgil, Averex. Wait, no, is that Averex or is the Pyrex?
Actually, no, Pyrex, he got sued for Pyrex. That's why he had to stop using the name. Virgil Abloh got sued because he didn't own the word Pyrex. They own it, and they own it in all categories. So
Mark Echo?
No, my fault. I'm talking about Virgil now. Sorry. Yeah, Virgil, but Virgil owns the word Off-White, but he doesn't own the brand Off-White. I know that sounds confusing.
Whoa.
He just owns the words, and he licensed it to a company called New Guards Group. You can Google this. And New Guards Group, they make the fashion. They're making the stores. They're handling human resources. I just own these two words, and I'm giving you the right to license it because I've built the brand out of it.
Wow. So he's not really making money from the actual sale of the clothing. It's just, so he collects money. He collects money from the people distributing the clothes.
He can. So this is the statement, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. That's up to him if he asks for royalties, or we don't know what that deal consisted of. But for the most part, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, all these guys do is trademarks their names, and then they sell it to a licensee and say you can rent it and say you own it and you can use it in this. And you got to own it per category. Calvin Klein is bras, panties, boxers, tops, bottoms. And then you do that in 196 countries. That's how you're building your wealth, like this.
So Averex has made a comeback. Who's making that money right now?
I don't know who owns Averex today. I know it's not Mark Echo, but same thing. He could have sold it to somebody else. Wow. So I don't really care for it because from my understanding, he's out of a lot of things these days. But because he's so complex, he sold it to Verizon. So and the Hearst Corporation, they own it together.
Is this happening a lot in the industry where a lot of these kids could make millions, or even older adults could be making millions and millions of more dollars, but just don't own their stuff properly?
Yes, so that's my gripe today with life. We're very unaware of how intellectual property works, and we as a culture, like selfie, Throwback Thursdays, like a lot of trends come from Black culture, but we don't know how to own it or even know we can own it. Light example, Diamond Dallas Page sued Jay-Z for this.
Diamond who?
My fault. There's a wrestler from back in the day, a company called WCW, named Diamond Dallas Page. And he used to do this. It was called the Diamond Cutter. That's when he would do his finisher in the ring. And Jay-Z, when he did the Dynasty album, on the cover, he's like this. You can YouTube this. You can Google it. Diamond Dallas Page sued Jay-Z and won. Now, I don't know how that financially looks because I don't really get that part of it in the court. But all in all, he said, you took my mannerisms because you can own mannerisms. I learned that through wrestling. Vince McMahon, who created WWF, which is now known as WWE, he makes money not necessarily from the shows of wrestling, but from licensing Stone Cold Steve Austin to video games, then licensing his body, because you can own the likeness of somebody, then licensing a Stone Cold Stunner, so that's a mannerism, like the eyebrow, the people's eyebrow, right? The Rock calls it that. He can. So if you do that on TV, he can sue you for that because that's his character rights or whatever. Because you can own a character, but you got to be detailed about it, like Goofy, Mickey Mouse, and how they laugh and certain sound effects they use, and he wears 2 buttons like this, so you can't. You can own prefixes. Facebook, you can't do book face, none of that. You'll get sued for that because they own the prefix. McDonald's, iPhone, iMac. You can own a prefix. It goes so much details, you know. So the more you get into, you go, damn. It's just like Meek Mill said. It's levels to it. You can own a house, but you don't own the land. Even if you own the land, you don't own the minerals. Even if you own the minerals, you don't own the surface rights, the water rights, the air rights. There's levels to owning a house. Most people just own the house itself, but that's why you still pay a mortgage. You still pay taxes because you don't own it in full. But they don't teach us that. You know, I learned it the hard way. But you know, you can own. There's a water bank, man. We can own water banks. I forgot the company's name. I'm gonna send you the video. You might want to clip it in, but Forbes did a whole story on this guy who owns a water bank, and companies like pistachios, the pistachio nut thing, they used a water bank to crop it, or like almonds and stuff. You gotta get that from a water bank. And Nestle, they had a story how Nestle's paying $200 a year for their water bank, and Nestle makes Poland Spring water.
Wow.
And that's in Michigan.
Wow.
They pay the state $20 a year for that. So it's things like that. Like, damn, we could own things like a water bank. I never even knew that was a term. So sometimes when you see a big body of water, somebody owns that water. And they're giving it away, or not giving it away. They're selling it to Poland Spring or something like that. Poland Spring water don't come from Maine the way San Pellegrino water don't come from Italy. It's all a lie, just like diamonds, you know.
So this is how a lot of people could boss up.
Very easy. Learn law, man. Laws will change your life, you know.